Hello all and welcome to the Google Digital Garage today. My name is Joseph Muldoon. I've been working on the Google Digital Garage project now, I think it's approximately 5+ years. Hopefully I'm going to share some of the insights in which I've learned over the years. Additionally to this, we have the wonderful Sarah, who is moderating today's chat. So do feel free to say hello to Sarah, say hello to myself, maybe introduce why you're on today's on today's webinar, and introduce yourself, maybe why you're here. And then what I'll try and do is, as I'm going through the content today, I'll try and sort of tweak the content to essentially what it is you're trying to achieve with your personal brand. So please do introduce yourself. Before we get going, remember this is only part of the offering that the Google Digital Garage has to offer. So if, for example, maybe you've just here today for build your personal brand online, remember we've got build a CV and cover letter, be perfect for this. Build engaging presentations, really good for your soft skills. If you want to take this one step further, creating videos on YouTube, this could be a way of developing your personal brand even greater and giving you an amazing opportunity to use these YouTube clips, well edited, to put onto your social media channels to make it look even more professional. So do spend the time having a look at this. And if you're looking maybe to expand maybe into more of the social media, we have writing for social media and strategy for social media. There's a plethora of other courses, so do feel free to have a look at the Google Digital Garage website, which will appear as if by magic from Sarah. But for now, we're going to go through today's presentation, and hopefully this will give you a really good understanding of how we can build your personal brand online. Thank you very much, Sarah, for putting the link. Just spotted that come up. So we've got three blocks in which we're going to go through today's content. The first one is understand your online presence and your personal brand. So what that actually is, what does it all mean? The second one is build your brand online. So how can we start to build your brand online? How can we make it bigger? What do we need to consider? And then the last one, increase your visibility. Increase your online visibility, more importantly. So these are the three blocks that we're going to go through today, which will hopefully give you an opportunity to dig deeper into what it is to have an online personal brand. One thing to consider is if you are based in the UK, unfortunately for all our online visitors from around the world, this is a UK-based initiative. If you go to g.co/UK mentoring or the link that Sarah will provide in a second, this will give you an amazing opportunity to be able to have a one-on-one mentoring session with a Google Digital Garage coach, and we'll be able to go through some of the areas that you would like to explore. You literally go to this link. When you're on the link, this will then drop down and give you an opportunity to have a tick box of the areas you would like to maybe have a one-to-one about. It could be anything from social media, ads, a bit of helping you develop your online brand visibility. There's a different options you can tick on, and literally it takes 2 to 3 minutes to go, this is my information, email address, tick the ones you're interested in, and then you should soon get a reply with the time that suits you to be able to have a one-to-one session. An amazing opportunity that I could not recommend enough. If you go to g.co/UK mentoring, please do visit this, please sign up, and it'll give you or possibly friends, family who have got small businesses in the UK or are part of a charity. If you are part of one or know one, why not pass this information on? It's totally free, a perfect opportunity from Google to help the rest of the world. So do share this information. It's not just a secret club for people who are on the webinar today. So please do spend the time having a look at that. So what we're going to do now is kick in. So I'm just having a quick look at some of the people. We've got Mara. I'm looking forward to building my art page and potentially getting customers and audiences for my paintings and digital illustrations. Right, I will try and use this as a little bit of a baseline maybe throughout today's content. So understanding your online presence and personal brand. We've got to think here is, do you have any brands that you regularly use? Why do you buy that brand? So straight away, if you can answer this question like this. So for example, if someone says to me, what brand do you use? Every day I wear my, not every day, but a good few days a week, I wear my Nike trainers. I've got some Nike Air Max, a certain design. You certainly recognize them if you appreciate trainers. And I think of them straight away. And that's what I think when I put on my feet. So that brand must have done something right. They're comfortable, they're cool to look at. the nice trainers, they last a while. So straight away, I've thought of that brand. And what defines that brand for me is it's comfortable shoes, the cool shoes, and they're well priced for the amount of time that they last. So straight away, there's a reason I chose that brand. There's a reason that I appreciate that brand. Is there something similar for you? So is there some brands that you think of just off the top of your head when I say brand? Who do you think of? Is it Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Aldi? Why do you think of those? And then what you've got to consider is if you start to think of these brands, now you've got to consider the flip side of this, is that if you have a brand online, if you are an individual online, how do people perceive you? And this is why we ask this question, to sort of make you think about it and then flip the juxtaposition around so that it's now back on you to go, well, what have I got online? How am I perceived online? What do people say about me? But your online presence is everything you do online. So, for example, if you're online and you're having to see, I don't know, what was it called? If you're online and maybe you've wrote on a forum somewhere and your name is attached to your username, that is you. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, that is you. And it's not to say that you can't have a life online. Anyone can be online. Anyone can have a presence online. How you choose to display that presence is your choice. So do you have social media profiles? Why do you have those profiles? What are those profiles trying to achieve? And for example, I know, for example, I've got a Facebook profile. I've slightly tweaked the username as I used to work in a school. And I've made it quite secure. So people can't add me, I can add them. People can send me a message, but it goes through a filter and I can choose to accept it or not. But most importantly, I've limited the amount of information that people can see on that to basically minimize the risk of professionals seeing my personal life. And it's not to say my personal life is untoward, but it's like my Facebook I class as my personal life, my LinkedIn, my Twitter I class as my professional life. And it means I can separate them. So start to think about this for you as well. Is there anything here that you can possibly start to think about? Well, you know what? My online presence, I want to be professional. This is how I'm going to do it. So what does your online presence include? So content that's created by you, photos, statuses, videos, anything that you've shared in the past. This is you could have been developing this work. You could have spent ages creating this work. But in addition to this, you've then got to think about, well, what about content that's been tagged? You've been tagged in that content. It could be content you posted on a website, stuff you've shared yourself that other people have shared. But any article, any comments or photos that you're tagged in, by default, you are tagged in. Again, on Facebook and other platforms, you can make it so you accept those tags. Have you turned this on? Have you ever gone through all of these tags and seen, actually, are these appropriate now, 15 years later after university, when one of your mates tagged you in a burger challenge and you've got a picture of you with a burger on your face going, I've done it. It's sort of like you've got time now to choose what you want to do with this information. However, your online presence isn't just limited to a singular location. Like websites, like social media, your online presence includes any search result. So have you actually searched your name in little quotes? So Joseph Kelly Muldoon, if I search Joseph Kelly Muldoon without the quotes, it will search for a variation of Muldoon Kelly Joseph, Kelly Muldoon Joseph, Joseph Kelly Muldoon, Kelly Joseph Muldoon. And it means that it can come up with an absolute array of results. So do search for your name in little quotes. It's not just social media. Your online presence is anywhere you've left a trace. So, for example, I found a photo bucket that was public for years with like 10,000 views of 150 pictures that I accidentally uploaded when I was about 17. All absolute nonsense. But when I searched myself, I found this. So do spend this time doing this. Your internet activity, browsing, cookies, online purchasing, all of this is essentially potential for online. So do spend time having a look at these. Internet, it's not searchable, it's not public, but it may contain personal information. And it could just be a little bit of time tidying up your history, getting rid of nonsense that you don't need anymore, looking through photos and finding what is relevant to you. So the best ways of cleaning this up is basically spend that little bit of time on each platform. Review the privacy policy. Delete old posts and profiles. Scan third-party content. So the best way of doing this is have a quick look at what people can see. A really good way I personally find of doing this is, say, for example, with Facebook. Go onto Facebook as your account, then get the URL that lets you link to your account, which other people see. Go onto an incognito window or private browsing and paste that URL into there. And now you can see what the world can see. And now you can choose to go, right, at the moment, they can see everything. I'll go to settings. I'll tick that box that says, don't let them see my wall. Go onto there. Yep, that's worked. Right, you can still see all my historic profile pictures. Okay, I want to reduce that to just one profile picture. You can still see all of this information. I just want to reduce it to that. And slowly you've gone from a world that's got this much information to this, to this, to this. So spend that extra little bit of time looking at these ones. Go through your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Look what was historically there. What have you been tagged in? Remove that tag. Delete that post. Remove that tweet. Obviously, people can still take print screens of things that have done in the past. And if you watch like I'm a Celebrity and so on, you'll see these things bite people in the backside later on in life. So it's not to say you're going to be an I'm a Celebrity, but you never know. Spend this time doing this now, and it'll just give you an optimum way of making sure that this is happening. If you want to cover yourself in the future, some really nice hints and tips for you. If you go to Google Alerts, you can literally go to Google Alerts, type it into Google. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can put in your name, you can put in variations of your name, your business, and put that into Google. And any time that anyone posts content about that online, for example, on a web page or a blog, it should trigger to tell you without you having to do it. Again, if you use something called Social Mention, it's a really simple to use social media tool that basically aggregates and generates content from different streams. And it's a really good one for just monitoring and allow you to track and measure what people are saying about you without you having to basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Without you having to do this yourself. So it's just quick ways of you being able to reduce the amount of information that is being shared about your social media. Apologies. I've just had the window just close randomly with the content on it. Give me a second, people, and I will bring it back up. But yeah, basically spend that little bit of time researching your online presence. And this should then mean that you're going to reap the rewards later on, because you'll actually be able to reduce the amount of potential danger of your actual content being viewed by an employee, being viewed by someone who's going to potentially use your brand as part of their organization, or even just you as an individual. But it's about reducing the risk, not necessarily totally removing it, if that makes sense. There we go. Apologies, people. A little bit of technical know-how has got us to this point. There we go. Sorry about that. So yes, we've got to here. So we've reduced the tags. We've gone through our content, but it now means we've reduced the possibility of being found. So when does an online presence become a personal brand? So a personal brand identifies who you are and how you differentiate from your peers. So what we've got to consider here is online brands can be creating opportunities. So here we've got Sarah Ritchie, essentially a person who's got a big interest in self-fitness. She's debating what it is and what other people perceive her as. So she's trained as a professional health coach and wellness coach in 2010. Since then, Sarah's started vlogging and fitness videos, and she now gets paid by fitness brands to wear her clothing. So straight away, when you look at this, this is a personal brand that has now become a potential business opportunity. And sometimes someone's passion is all it needs behind this. Again, we've got Sheena, initially started a blog in 2016 to collate all the food images she was posting on social media. And after setting up a blog, quickly grew interest, and she started to receive questions and letters off her fans requesting recommendations. Since then, Sheena's regularly receives invites from local restaurants to try their food in return for a review or a blog. So straight away, you can see how a potential online opportunity could have been thwarted if they had content that they haven't considered, if they had historic content of them being a bit silly online, posting content that makes no sense. But that consistency demonstrates here, actually, it's very feasible to have an online brand that creates potential opportunities. So straight away, when we look into this, there's reasons we can consider this. 69% of employees conduct social media checks before they hire someone. This isn't always just going to be just for hiring people. This could be someone actually having a look in at brands. This could be someone choosing, do I choose this personal trainer? Do I choose that one? Do I follow this person who's showing videos on how to keep fit? Or do I follow this person? So straight away, 69% of them do social media checks. That's basically, let's just say most. So you'd be a bit silly to not at least check your social media. 89% of consumers aged 35 to 54 trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. So again, if you're building this personal brand, you've got your social media, you've got potentially your website, you've also got your Google My Business, your Trustpilot. People use this as a way of going, well, I personally haven't used this brand, but how could I make sure I know that this brand is a reputable brand and a brand that I could actually use and I trust? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. And if other people are thinking these, well, then surely you should also be thinking this. So spend the extra little bit of time to go, actually, I need to do this. So if you haven't already, make a note, check my social media channels, check my online presence, as this is the difference between you potentially finding information and you not finding that information. So what could we have a look at additionally? So now we've discovered what a brand is. Well, what's the difference between that? Essentially, the difference between something that's personal and a brand is a goal gives a brand purpose. So what is it we're trying to achieve here? So if we're looking at these images here, what is the goal of the personal trainer? Why is she showing a picture of herself, sat down at a gym, possibly a little bit panted, possibly a little bit knackered, because she's just sat there a bit sweaty after a workout? What is it that she's trying to achieve? She's got a smile on her face. What does she want people to read into this particular message? And imagine this was maybe your art one. So a minute ago, we had Maren saying about she wants to build up an art page and potentially get customers and audiences. How could she use this information? How could she put pictures online that show this? Could she have happy customer reviews? Could she have a picture of her painting? Could she have a picture of, or I don't know if it's he, apologies. Could she have a picture of those people painting art, how she's done them, a little bit of a time lapse of this art to show how it's actually created? So straight away, we've got A, someone at the gym. B, we've got personal trainer and boot camps and then client reviews. And then the last one, a little bit of everything, showing that you can have some fun, showing that actually exercise isn't all about getting sweaty and going to the gym. So when we look at this, the first one is about satisfaction. She's trying to demonstrate, I've got a smile on my face, I've just done a workout. It's very satisfying doing this. So now the people that are looking at her Instagram or Twitter feed can literally go, oh, she looks quite satisfied. Could I use this as an example and go, you know what? I need to do more like this. I need to enjoy my gym workouts. Here we've got quality, just simple. Read the reviews, look at the website. It's crisp, it's clean. And then credibility. Here's basically showing that he's training people who are doing boxing, who are potentially in the actual boxing ring. We've got athletes, we've got individuals, we've got crisp pictures. So it's about thinking, well, who are your target audience and what is it that they want? Once you understand your target audience, then you can start creating content for them. So think about this straight away if you can. For example, if you're looking at a younger audience, what is it that they're looking for on social media? Do some research and try and align both of these. Adding a goal to your profile also makes a difference. So here we can see on the left, we've got Fatima Allen, and we've got a sales-focused individual who enjoys a dynamic atmosphere of working in a team. But what does this mean? Let's see how different these profiles can look when you add a goal. This is Fatima, who uses LinkedIn occasionally, finds roles and a bit of personal use. What is Fatima's goal in the second example? So when we're starting to look into this, we can see sales development leader scaling global business dev teams to deliver quality inbound and outbound pipelines to closure. And then at the bottom, sales development leader who is passionate about scaling global business development teams and empowering them to deliver quality inbound and outbound pipeline to closure. I am also the founder and director of SDR Secrets, LinkedIn's video channel, which provides success stories and top tips created for SDRs by SDRs. So straight away, she's basically giving a lot more information about herself. Her goal here is to demonstrate her prowess. Her goal here is to basically say, this is who I am. She's setting herself up as a thought leader. She's changed her copy to demonstrate her activity. She's tailored this towards the clients and recruiters using powerful language, clearly setting out her expertise with relevant content that shows and demonstrates her expertise and helps you stand out from similar profiles, rather than one on the left, a sales-focused individual who enjoys dynamic atmosphere of working in a team. What does this even mean? But now she's literally throwing all of these big things at you, showing you outbound pipeline to closure. She's using terminology that makes sense in that industry. So have a look at yours. How can you reword this to put a bit more power behind those sentences? Reiterating these facts in your about section. It should be at the top headlines. The next section should back up that section with some evidence. A quick look. We've not had any questions yet, but we've got a few more people just getting involved. A project in the education sector. My main vision is to encourage all parents to give a chance to all children to go to school. I think that's a fairly respectable goal, a big goal, but I think it's a brilliant goal to push yourself towards. So I'll try and encourage this in there as well. So I slip it in somewhere. So building your brand online. So when we're looking at this, we need to consider a few things. A goal should always contain something you can track. So we need to consider that if we're building this brand online, you need to decide upon a goal. So is your goal to find new job opportunities? Is your goal to find more followers? Is it to find new clients? Because depending on what it is, depending on the terminology that you can do. But more importantly, you need to be able to measure success. You need to be able to track success. So you need to literally be able to go, this is what I'm trying to do. Find more job opportunities. Am I getting offered more jobs? Am I growing my followers? This is what it was day one. This is what it was week one. This is what it was month one, month two. Am I getting soft leads for new clients? So straight away, this now means because you decided on a goal, you can up this to start measuring it. And then you need to have a consideration for this. Could you write this down yourself? So write down, I want to present myself online like blank because I want to blank. And then the same as this, I will know I've been successful when. So for example, if I said, I want to present myself online like a professional online trainer because I want to get more people asking me to deliver training. I will know I've been successful when I have got 3 requests a week or I've had 10 requests in a month. So straight away, it means you can change the way you're doing things. You can measure how well the things is you're doing, measure your interactions as micro goals. But at the end of the day, have you met your quota that you're saying you have to have done to be successful? The more detail, the better. So rather than just I'm trying to find new job opportunities, let's make this a little bit more accurate. I'm trying to find job opportunities as a chef near Liverpool. So now we know this information, we can start to use terminologies that chefs would use, start to use words that chefs would use, start to use words that people who are recruiting for chefs would use. Rather than just saying, I cook and I'm very good at it, it could be, I'm a sous chef with 10 years experience at the Savoy in London, and I'm looking for a role as a second or lead chef in a medium to large restaurant in Liverpool. All of a sudden, you've put that information in there, a little bit of history. What more could we add in there? Find more followers of Oboe enthusiasts. Again, it gives you a way now of niching down your headlines, niching down your profile. And this can apply to LinkedIn. This can apply to Instagram. This can apply to Twitter in your bios. So the more information you've got here, the better. So find new clients to buy your pottery aprons. Again, now you know who you're looking for. Start to join these groups on Facebook, LinkedIn. Start to find the hashtags that people are talking about. The more information you've got, the smaller the audience. But the smaller the audience, often the more engagement you'll get with that audience. Next, build out your target audience. So who do I need to reach to make my goal come true? So understand that personal brand needs audiences. Build a target audience. So like I've just said from the last one, we now got that little bit more information. Where can I find them? Should you signpost people from groups, from certain types of jobs or recruiters or personal trainers to clients? If you're a personal trainer, you're looking for a client. If you're an art dealer, if you're someone that makes art, you're looking for people to buy your art. So who do you need to reach? You need to find people. So you need to then elect some responses before moving on to the next question. How can you engage with them? And conveniently, we need to now dig down into this question of who are they? So we need to consider age, gender, location. Straight away, you might think, why is this relevant? If you watch Writing for Social Media or Strategy for Social Media, this will then go into personas and give you that little bit more detail. But once you understand what ages there are and the gender and the location, and this can be quite easily found, for example, on Facebook Insights, this will now give you that extra bit of information to go, actually, I know this basic information. Let's expand this outwards. You should have at least 3 to 5 target audiences. Start with 3 and then build it outwards. It could just be you've got a client who always comes back to you. Use them as a basis. Answer all of these questions. Start looking into, well, if it's art, what do they like? Do they like modern art? Do they like graffiti art? Do they like cheap art? Do they like expensive art? They dislike expensive art, but like cheap art. So can you have an offering for that? Or is that something you're entirely going to discredit because it's not worth your time? But could you do prints to balance this out? What are they interested in? What do they care about? What do they spend money on? And then all of a sudden, once you start to build out this picture, you can write a little story about this person. Put a picture of this person you found online, maybe one of your friends who you associate to this particular target audience. And now you've got that but more information, which means you can write content for them online. You can start to build out this knowledge to actually bring in more people who are like that particular target audience. Tools you can use to do this. So Audience Finder, this is a good starting point that offer for free in the UK based around analytics and UK cultural landscape. But it's basically a way of jumping on, typing in a few sort of key facts, and you'll find it really useful. And you'll be able to sort of use this through your brand. Have a look at it, go online, find Audience Finder, well worth looking into different areas of the UK to see if it's somewhat relevant for you to be able to investigate. The next one could be Instagram for Business. Again, anyone can convert their Instagram into a business one, but all of a sudden you get a load more insights. Page Insights on Facebook give you this as well. LinkedIn people is a very powerful tool just to be able to search for people, to help you find people in a particular age group and maybe title of job, depending what area of business you're in. If you're selling services, you can literally find the individuals who have got the job titles that could employ you, that could use your services. So spend these times to basically find these people. Social media business profiles, spend time developing the social media pages, not just your personal profile, which now means you're taking that brand to the next level. The Page Insights, like I just mentioned, and people search. At the end of the day, developing a network is about finding those people. Have that opening paragraph, opening sentence that you can condense down to get people's attention, to get them to think, and to get them to act. And if you're consistent with this, you will get people replying. And don't take it wholeheartedly and negatively if you don't get people replying to your messages. But spend that time building out your business, building out your networks, and using the tools internally to help you with this. So specialist platforms that can save you time and effort. If you are, for example, looking at meeting fellow writers, writers look up to me, what platform could you use here? So if you're looking to sort of expand this, you could use something called Meetup. If you're selling, so Meetup's just an online community of people who are basically like-minded, looking to meet with fellow writers so they can bounce ideas, look at content that people have wrote. If you're looking to sell homemade jewelry, you probably wouldn't go on Meetup. You want to have a look at something like Etsy. If you're trying to find building contracts, people who need building work done, you would go to mybuilder.com. So once you've decided on what it is you're trying to sell online, for example, art, for example, crafts, for example, knowledge, you need to then decide, well, art, I could sell on Etsy. Knowledge, depending on what my area is, could I be an architect? I could sell on building contracts. But again, I'm not going to be using the top one. So now once you decide what you're doing, look at the different platforms that are relevant, because a lot of the audiences are already on these platforms knowing that they exist, which is why Etsy does so well, because people go there for homemade things, not on the high street. Another example of this. But if people are already there, can you get involved in that community? And then once you've got selling it, you can even try and then bring people to your own website to try and take them away from that community. But the main thing is that's where they are in the first place. So which words describe your brand? Spend a little bit of time choosing 3 words. There might be 3 words on here. And it might be that you could condense some of these words down into 1 word. And then you've got another example of this. For example, for myself, I like to think of myself as professionally informal, and we'll go with an expert, or authentic. So authentic, professionally informal. Because to me, I try and deliver presentations of how I am. I don't just necessarily read from notes and deliver the same thing time in, time out, which is why I ask people to drop in what they're doing, what their business is, what they're trying to develop. So straight away, which words describe your brand? Try and pick out 3. If you've not got time now, write 3 words to describe my brand, underline, 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 and come back to it later on. And again, if you come back to writing for social media and strategy for social media, we spend a little bit more time on this. So well worth just keeping an eye on. Maybe after this, have a look at the website. Sarah put it up before in the comments. Potentially she could put it up again now, please. And it just means then you can start to find when that session's on, take this on board, make some notes, plan for your next session and go, I'm going to be on that and that day. And you'll dig deeper into this. So straight away, now when we've started thinking about this, Fatima's done a LinkedIn profile. What could she do for Twitter? What could she do for Instagram? Could she even use some of this on those other platforms? So what she's done here is basically customer service manager from Manchester, interested in content marketing opportunities. Open University graduate in English, literature, regular contributes to BuzzFeed and HuffPost community. New ideas or opportunities, email Fatima Allen. So what's great about this is she started to think, actually, who am I? What have I done? How do people contact me? A simple way of breaking this down: what you have to offer. What are your expertise? How is someone going to call to action? What can they do to actually contact me? You could even say, drop me a DM or drop me an email. But what's great about this, you've kept it in concise blocks. So when someone reads this, they're going, well, what do I want from this person? Customer service manager from Manchester, content marketing. Your keywords that are going to come up there will be customer service manager, content marketing. What's her background? Brilliant. She gets involved in BuzzFeed and HuffPost community quite regularly. She's evidently well educated with an English literature degree and Open University graduate. So she's got that drive to do it outside of the normal path that people say, or normal path that people say. And then how to contact her. Right. I like the idea of this person. She's clearly got knowledge and expertise. How do I get hold of this person? So now on your page, write bio and put your offer, your expertise, call to action. By all means, write this down for now as an example. But what I'd love you to do is consider these 3 things for you. If you want to write a small paragraph first, that's fine, just to dump that from your brain, but then spend the time afterwards to tighten that up. Make it like a tweet, not even smaller. At the end of the day, the longer it is, the more people have to read and the less attention span may be applied. So spend that time condensing it, your offer, your expertise, call to action, done. So content consistency builds trust. What does this mean? Well, your biography is basically the first things that people read when they arrive on your profile. So all the content you share and you create should be consistent with those goals and values. So when you're making this little bio, they've read this and now they're going, wow, educated person, clearly got a good idea of content marketing. If they then went onto your page and you were just talking about tweets, or you were talking about Twitter and how bad it is, or you were talking about Twitch or demonstrating gaming, is that you've said you're a content marketer, but yet you're not really delivering on this. You're not really backing up your point. And by all means, have personal interest in Minecraft or GTA or whatever, but it could be that you have a different account for that. Or you start to separate your accounts, have Twitter and LinkedIn for your professional and Facebook for your personal life. But examples of this could be something as simple as the health doctor. Let's have a quick look. Right, we've got brown toast. We've got some tomato on brown toast, some radish on toast, some nuts on toast, and some cucumber on toast. So yeah, quite a healthy collection of food. It matches that health doctor with healthy food. I love cakes. Do you? I love playing the guitar. Not too sure why that picture's there. I'm going to leave. John bread maker. John is making bread. Someone's making bread. That is consistent. So just think about this as a really quick and easy stage. Someone reads your bio. Someone looks at your picture. Does all of this information match up? If you're the happy chef, don't have a picture of you going. If you're an arts dealer, don't have a picture of you playing on a PlayStation. Just start to think how you can start to align this to get consistency. So here we can see we've got Sheena. We've got a relevant photo of Sheena, just a professional looking photo. We've got a relevant handle. We've got what is it she does? Hashtag living that vegan life. She's a London vegan, recipe creator, get my cookbook now, fitness and Muay Thai fun, and find me on YouTube. So straight away, she's saying, you can find me on these different platforms. She's saying she's got a cookbook. She's got hashtag living that vegan life is maybe something that she gets involved with, posts to quite regularly. So straight away, you could follow that hashtag. It's quite interesting. You found her. She's going to pop up in there every now and then. The content that she's offering is reflective of the vegan life. I've got a friend called Rikesh, for example, who is a vegan, and he does continuously tell me about how you can have good food being vegan. But if all of a sudden she was posting about the vegan life, and she starts putting steaks on there because she's changed, all of a sudden, all these people that were following her for this reason are now going, well, why are you posting this? So that's what I'm talking about with consistency. You sit on one side of the fence. It's not to say you can't have debates. It's not to say you can't post pictures of me, but what is the context of what you're doing this for? Keep it consistent, because what they're looking for needs to be reflective of what you're offering. So can you create a handle or a biography? So 1, what skills and strengths and experience do you want to highlight? What does your target audience want to hear? You've got 4 minutes to write your bio. So have a little think about this. When you work out what skills it is you have to offer, that's brilliant. But now we need to have a consideration to go, actually, what is it people want to hear about? So people in the vegan community often want to know maybe locations that they can go where they know there's good vegan food options. They maybe want to know recipes because it's quite hard to make. Well, in my understanding, I'm not a vegan, but I could imagine it's quite hard for me to make a meal that's full of flavor. But I know I'm wrong because I've got friends who are vegans who make meals full of flavor. I've been to their house and had meals full of flavor. So all of a sudden, could it be, here's an easy recipe for your friends to enjoy to show you that vegan isn't that difficult? Or could it be, you've dedicated now to vegan, here's some advanced recipes. And when you think about this, it's knowing how easy it is to pick up on these things. So for example, Joe Wicks, the body coach, has different exercises that he posts online on YouTube, for example, and he has different colors that represent different difficulties. So it means you're not looking for the colors for different difficulties. You're looking for the one that you're looking for, which means you don't have to search all of his content. So straight away, the target audience are looking for ease, looking for doing exercise quickly, looking for exercise in 15 minutes at a high intensity. Boom, it's red. At a low intensity, it's blue. So straight away, what do they want? They want something quick and easy, but they also want to be able to access it quick and easily on the Amazon stick or something. Straight away, you now know what your audience wants. Use your skills and your experience to highlight what they want, bring it together to deliver what they do, and now deliver that content and see what happens. So give yourself a second to make some notes, give yourself a second to start considering this, and hopefully this will start to push you forward. Once again, we've got another person with a goal here. So my main vision is to encourage all parents to give their children to go to school, a bit more with it. I understand that any student that's not speaking English will find it very difficult on employment market, looking at the way the world has become digitally and is moving so fast. So that's a really good example bio. I could say you could maybe have in there, how do you want people to be able to like contact you to use this information? So like contact me to explore new opportunities, message me to see some ideas that we could work on. Are you someone that's struggling with this information? How could you help those? So straight away, maybe add a little bit about a call to action at the end of there as well. Cool. The section we're going to look at last is the last section, is increasing your visibility online. So increase the chances of people finding you on LinkedIn. So first of all, there's a really nice tool on LinkedIn that literally tells you if you've completed your entire profile. So recruiters on LinkedIn are using a product called Recruiter, which allows them to search job titles, location, skills. Completing your profile means that these keywords can crop up more often. And when they search for someone with these skills and experiences, you're more likely to come up because it's in your heading, it's in your about section, it's in your job description, it's in your articles that you've posted online. And again, the same goes for Facebook or Instagram. It's businesses looking for brands on there that are likely to appear in search results if you have the right keywords mentioned. So first of all, complete your profile. Second of all, give and request recommendations and take them down the path. Would you mind giving me a recommendation? We worked with each other a few years ago. Could you mention professional speaking and confidence when I'm delivering my sessions? And why do you want that? Because you're going for a job where you're doing public speaking to 100 people, 200 people, and you want to be able to demonstrate that you're a good professional speaker and you've got the confidence to do this. And it's coming up in all of the job descriptions as keywords. So all of a sudden, when people are looking for absolute essentials, confidence, and being able to public speak, boom. You've mentioned it in your title, you've mentioned it in the about, you've mentioned it in articles, but now you've spent that extra little bit of time to request it for people with recommendations, adding skills, ticking those boxes. Now there's a difference between Joe Kelly Muldoon and Joe Kelly. You look at Joe Kelly, he spent a bit of extra time getting recommendations, getting skills ticked off. Joe Kelly Muldoon looks at it, oh, actually, he's not spent much time doing that. We're going to go with this person. All because he spent that extra half an hour a week just messaging a few people for recommendations. And then link other profiles so that if they've got this one, they can go to your YouTube, have a look at your content there. They can go to your website, have a look at your content there. Maybe your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, depending what you've got on each one, is it relevant? If you personally blog about food, but you're looking for a job as a industrial global business developer, maybe keep the Instagram to the side. But if you've got a LinkedIn page and a website about what you've done with your job, there you go. Pass that information on. Tips to grow your network. So post unique, high quality content, connect with your audience, be consistent, and post regularly. So it may seem obvious, but if you post unique content that is answering questions maybe that people have been asking, or it's content that answers people's questions, you're spending the time interacting with that audience, you are posting high quality content. And this should basically mean that people should come back. They'll go, that was really interesting. Let me subscribe to this person. Let me watch another video next week. And all of a sudden, you've now got a follower who tells somebody else about it. Rather than just posting content you think is relevant, start off with what you think is relevant, then start asking people, what would you like me to talk about? In the comments, what topic areas interest you? What areas would you think you need to do? I'd love an idea of vegan snacks to have at the gym to help me improve my protein intake. Oh, okay, very niche, but I'll answer that question in a video in the future. Feedback, engagement, and then returning that favor to the audience who has spent the time engaging with you in the first place. Connect with your audience. Ask them, engage with them. If they like something, brilliant. If they comment on something, don't just like it. Reply back. If you get a review, for example, or a comment, don't just say, thanks, Joe, for the comment. If Joe wrote, I'd love to see a video about higher levels of protein in the gym with snacks. I really struggle with a plateau at the end of the gym session every day when I'm doing a 30-minute run. Brilliant. Thank you so much for asking about this, Joe. I will include this in the next 2 weeks of my content, and I'll let you know when it is. This is a great idea. It's actually something that I struggle with sometimes. So I might spend an extra bit of time researching that. Let you know. Thank you very much, Joe. They have now got a full response back. They have now got someone that cares for them. You're connecting with that audience on an individual level, but be consistent with this. Don't just write that and then choose another comment and go, cheers for the comment. Be consistent across all your platforms. Make sure you're posting regularly on all the platforms. Don't just reply on one of them. Post once a week, twice a week, 4 times a week. Use that YouTube content to make content for your other platforms. But if someone comes back twice or 3 times a week to see what you post, and for 6 weeks you posted nothing, they're probably going to unsubscribe. They're probably going to let that follow go. Obviously, go on holiday. But at the same time, you can use tools like Buffer or Hootsuite to post when you're away, so that people don't even notice you've gone, and spend that extra week beforehand planning some extra content, post it out, but building consistency. And then posting regularly comes with that consistency. So tips to grow your network. When you're actually on your content, reply to content that people have commented on yours with. Go to other areas inside your network with people that interest you, people that influence you, other people that are thought leaders. Comment, like, and react to other people's posts. Naturally, people will comment with yours. Algorithmically, then it will bring up content about yours. They've commented on yours. It'll bring up your content on theirs. And this now means you're creating this little mini, what's the word I'm looking for, ecosystem around you of people that are interested in content you write about, and you interested in content that other people write about. One of the most important things, though, is to make sure you're being visual. Don't just sit there and go, I'm going to talk about vegan food. You don't see Ainsley Harriott when he's on a chef show literally just talk you through a recipe. He's literally got a pan. He's cooking it up. He's involved. He's energetic. He's getting people to watch. He's getting people to flow through the recipe with him. The same thing applies to this. If you're talking about something like vegan food, how many people come to you and say, how are you a vegan? I've done it for years. It's not hard. But it's that sort of exacerbation to go like, oh, and demonstrate that emotion so that people laugh with you, cry with you, enjoy it with you. Which then means straight away, because you're being visual, because you're engaging with your audience, people see that emotion with you, which creates an emotive response to them, which creates them watching that video for longer, rather than going, veganism is really hard and nobody can do it. But if you watch my videos, you should be able to do it. Flat, monotone, no expression, no passion. It's like if I talk about food, I get passionate no matter what, because I love food. But this now means that I demonstrate that by saying I love food. I don't just love food. It's spending that extra bit of time, bringing examples up on the screen, maybe next to you, doing a video with someone, bringing prompts up, bringing images up, bringing recipes up, the video on the side, cooking the recipe with them, talking over it. Now we've got visual. The first 3 seconds, you should have that hook. In the first 7 seconds, they should be watching. If you just said, hi, my name's Joe, I'm going to talk about vegan stuff, no one cares. What are you going to talk about and why? And then last of all, use that networking tool to connect. Find other people. Have a look online. Find other interesting content to share that you found and share it alike. Find other people's articles and share them. If you have a look at Pocket or Feedly or BuzzSumo, these are all amazing tools for you to be able to read stuff later on, automatically generate content for you that you can then go, oh, that's really interesting, without you having to search for it, but it comes straight to you. Have a look at those tools and the links will pop up in a second. Use online networks to find new opportunities. So how could this apply to job seeking? Understand that suggestions can apply both to business and individual personal brands. There's loads of different ideas that you could do here. But for example, if you help you build your following and more followers, it now demonstrates you've got credibility, which then means if you've got looking for your network to expand out further, how could this apply to job seekers? Well, when someone finds your brand online and maybe you're applying to be a PT, maybe you're applying to be a business manager, and you've got a profile with 6,000 followers and you post every week and it's got 200 engagement every single time you post, well, then you are a thought leader. Which means when you look at the person here and the person here, and this person has got a following, demonstrating knowledge at networking events, getting involved in this particular network at a much higher level than this person, well, which one are you going to choose? So spending this time developing your online profile means you're also spending this time demonstrating you're developing your online profile, so that when someone finds you or this person, you've spent the time, they haven't, 1-0. All of a sudden, you're the one moving forward. So ask yourself that question. Help build a following. Why would you do it? Because it gets you credibility, builds trust and companionship, which is better opportunities because you've got more people engaging. Creating shareable content for your brand. So, for example, if I was to share this is a nice picture of me from behind when I worked in the Google Digital Garage in Manchester. It's someone enjoying themselves. If this was me showing, this is how I do training, and people are enjoying themselves, people are laughing, it demonstrates this. But when we think about sharing content, it has to be shareable content, which means we need to consider a few other things. Images with your updates. So if I'm making content that just says vegan food, make a brownie, here's the recipe, no one knows what that brownie looks like. And to me, I'm a visual eater. I will not poo-poo vegan food just because it's vegan. If it looks nice, it tastes nice, I'm all over it. My child, for example, had an egg allergy, and therefore we had to make sure everything was vegan because it had no eggs in it. But actually, the amount of food I tried that I would not normally have tried, I tried a few brownies and was gobsmacked. Not because I think veganism isn't good, but because actually, if I don't need to have vegan food, I generally don't. But this made me try it. But if you were showing this recipe as a brownie and it's got no image, then why would I be swayed or dissuaded to have a brownie if there was just a recipe? So even just a picture of your brownie, a picture of you mixing the stuff up with a video with a play button, you being, when you're talking on the video, maybe text coming up on the screen to make it easier. People's faces, so it's you talking rather than just a brownie and you mix in a bowl. It shows your emotive. You don't have like Ready, Steady, Cook and it just shows people's hands. It shows the faces. You don't have morning talk shows with just images on the screen. Even the news has people talking with their faces as part of the emotion because it demonstrates additional expression. And like you can see, if you've got images, 100%, 150% more retweets, 38% more likes, so it's got people's faces. Live broadcast gives you 3 times more views than traditional videos because Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn push these features because they want people to use them. So you get more reach. On Facebook, you even get notifications to other people in your Facebook feed who aren't even following you, who have just got you as a friend or not as a favorite, and it will literally tell them you're going live. So straight away, there's bonuses to spending these extra things that you do. And all of these are basically additional ways of you obtaining this information. And it's super important to stay up to date with all of these social media ones. Keeping on top of these, have a look at Think with Google. Have a look at Social Sprout and HubSpot. Both of these regularly post blogs with up-to-date content on what is going on in the world of social media so that you don't miss these. You don't have to spend the time researching them. Have a look at their feeds. Have a look at their social media channels. They will give you updates, and hopefully that will mean then you'll stay on top of it with minimal effort because they're passing you the information, which is of an expert level, at a thought leader. And you never know in the future, by you keeping on top of this, you can maybe deliver this to your network as and when it happens. So develop a visual look and feel as well. So for example, if you look at this here, you're thinking an influencer who's traveling, it's got nice blues, it's crisp, it's a nice picture. I want to go where they're going. But all of a sudden, this means that you might need tools. So Photoshop or Visco or Canva. But all of a sudden, this doesn't mean that you have to pay for these things. It just means you want top quality. You're talking Photoshop. If you want it to be free, you might have a look at Canva. If you want to have a look at the paid for version of Canva, because it saves you time. If you want to have a look at Visco, so you add filters and images to a folder, but you apply the filters and images to that folder, means you don't have to apply the same filter to 10 images. And if there's 3 filters on each one, you'd apply the same filter 3 times for each one, which means it's 30 filters. Instead, with VSCO, you can make a folder which has the images and the filters applied. You drop an image in, it applies the filters. You just saved yourself 30 clicks. And now you've just got to upload one photo, one click. So start to think of how you can do this. Don't stage your photos. Look for moments of your life which you find interesting. Obviously, I'm not saying never stage a photo, but you've got to consider that if people are going like, well, it's ridiculous that he's caught that thing happening and that happening at once, and he's photoshopped it together clearly, people will pick up on this. Look at when, for example, like the Kardashians edited their pictures to make themselves look slimmer. People saw on Photoshop it moved the background and it caused a storm. But all news is good news and bad news. So in their case, it didn't make much of a difference. But it's about credibility. So find moments in your life that you think other people would like to share. But look and feel. That's what you want to be able to do. Not just a picture of a book. If it shows them on a beach relaxing, okay, maybe so. Then try to be interactive. So, for example, I remember once there was a lady came into the garage who was she was like a travel blogger. And she was like, I'm trying to get a bit more engagement from my people. What could I do? And she had a good following, like thousands of people. So she did a poll and said, where do you want me to go next? And literally left it to them. But the problem is, all three of those places she wanted to go to anyway. But now she's leaving the fate in the hands of her people. And they all voted. And the next week, she went to one of those places. But it then meant that they made the decision for her. It's sort of like rolling the dice, a little bit of Bandersnatch, if you've not watched it on Netflix. It's letting you decide your own destiny. But doing that meant that people got engaged and were like, I can't believe you did what we said. That's brilliant. Stories. Now, when she's explaining this week, I'm going to go wherever you send me. Here's the poll I'm going to put up in 5 minutes. Keep an eye on it, people. Keep people updated on the poll. I see now we're going to France. Now we're going to Monaco. Now we're going to the USA. We've got 4 more days. Let's see what happens. I've been looking at trips. Here's a trip that we could do. Here's a location I'd love to go when I'm there. But all of a sudden, this then makes content for your stories. You could use some of this content for your posts. You could even try and build up all of this and drop it onto the end of a live stream. Next week, I'm going to let the people vote for me. What do you think I should go to? Here's my options. I'm going to post on Tuesday, but I'll give you a little snippet of it on the stories Monday and Tuesday. And on Friday, I'll tell you where we're going to go. But all of a sudden, all of these things feed each other. Twitter, Instagram stories. I've got your polls, your stories on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. Post on all of them. Live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. You can do them individually. You can also use a website called StreamYard, which is something I use quite a lot, to be able to post a video live to all the platforms at once, minimizing the amount of effort that you have to do. And it also brings all of the comments into one platform, which means it's less admin for you. So it's now your turn. What kind of content appeals to your target audience? Know who they are, find out who they are, engage with them, ask them questions. What message do you want to communicate? You know who they are. What do they want? How are you going to convey that message? So when they ask the question, what is my brand like? Those 3 words that you're trying to get people to say start to align. It's okay if they don't get all 3 of them bang on, but you'll start to learn what it is people want and what it is people are doing. And what is your visual look and feel? Decide on your brand. Are you going to have a yellow? Are you going to have a blue? Is your logo going to be in all your images? If it is, where on all those images? Create a brand guideline. Again, have a look at writing for social media and strategy for social media. This will sort of bring a bit of what I'm talking about into a bit more of an open discussion, and therefore, hopefully, you'll learn from it. So consider these questions. Get responses from your target audiences. And now you can decide what content would be good for your customers, for your end users. What are the next steps? Give it a go. Once you've taken some of these steps, go to g.co/UK mentoring, and this will give you an amazing opportunity to be able to ask these people these questions. Take these steps first, then approach them, so that then you're asking questions to get the most out of this time as possible. Thank you, everyone that has turned up today. Feel free to give us feedback at goo.gul/digital garage feedback. Have a nice day, and we'll see you again. Thank you very much, Sarah, for your moderating today. Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for turning up. We'll see you again at the Google Digital Garage.